We've promised for like a super long time that we would do a little behind the scenes, and most of the time we're out here, we've got tons of work to do, and we don't have a lot of time for behind the scenes stuff, especially live, but it worked out today, and the number still says 9,000 on here, so it should still be good. Let me see if I can show you a couple things behind the scenes here at our highway site. Bear with me as I walk around. The signal may change a little bit, but because I'm tethered to that, it should come back really quickly, even if it hops a little bit. In my ears, is everything going good? Did everybody leave the stream now because I'm talking, or what? It takes them a little time to respond to me. Let's get y'all off the tripod here. So I can, there you go, move you around more easily like this. Flip this around like that. Continue to watch the signal. It's over 9,000. Excellent. And let's see what we've got going on. We got the NASA spaceflight truck over here. When we originally started, we wanted to have a footprint here where we could safely operate these things. And so we've installed a gravel pad. This has been here for a couple years now. This is our property. So NASA spaceflight owns the property here. And we've installed this little gravel pad. Got about 1,000 watts of solar. These solar panels, there's 4 solar panels over here. This is going to get repainted. It's part of our refurbishment project. It's looking a little rough right now, but it's physically sound. Our batteries are in there. That's where we store all the power that we get for free from the sun on the solar panels. Back over this way. Hey, I'm a little scared to walk around, but I shouldn't be. Let's walk around and see what happens. These cameras that seem to be tracking me as I walk around the site. This is Mars Cam, the gray one over here. You can see we had to reseal one of the sides that's got some white eyeliner, eyeshadow, whatever you want to call it. This is Highway Cam. It doesn't get better signal because of the little sticks on top. That's for birds because we don't want Sean to have to come out here and clean the cameras off constantly. But those are the 2 cameras that are at Highway right now. Have been here so long you can actually see some like patina, like the anodizing or whatever has worn off the tripods. I don't know if it's anodizing or what. Those used to be black. And we have in this corner, we're actually going to put a concrete slab in with a taller tower that has better reach for the camera, more stable reach for the camera. These tripods work just fine right now. Sean's not here right now, but Sean was setting up some of his cameras over this way, so all these cameras that are on the tripods are that way. But that's the cool thing. We have the 24/7 cameras here that we use to bring Starbase Live to you. And then the site also provides location and power and internet for any client cameras that we put here for special events, like Sean's cameras. I know Maxwell, I think everybody's going to have cameras here this time, but they're going to set up their remotes, they're going to set up their still camera, their slow-mo cameras, and that's where you get, if y'all got Max's metal print last time, that's where this shot came from. We originally thought that this was not going to be a great shot, but because it's sort of like straight on and you can see the flaps of the ship, and the tower's there, as it clears the tower, it really is an amazing angle from right here. So not only does the highway site here support the 24/7 operation, Starbase Live, and all the things that we cover, it also supports the photographers that will be putting gear out here. Now, Sean's actually been working on one of the boxes. I'm not going to stick the camera down in the box, but he has a box that he has built and is deploying here. And the big difference about Starbase signal check, is it all still good? I'm going to make sure the signal's still good before I keep talking to y'all. Survey says over 9,000 still. Nice. The big difference between Starbase and the other places that we shoot, like the Cape. The Cape, when you deploy a remote camera like this one, you actually can't transmit or receive from the camera. You have to disable the wireless networks. You can't run a cable, or you can't have a point-to-point transmitter or anything like that. You can't even use LTE because they don't allow us to transmit when we're near the pads at the Cape or Wallops or wherever, right? Here at Starbase, it's a totally different thing. Not only are we on our own property, but we can transmit all day long. So we're able not only to just set the remote camera. This is a MyOps trigger. It's one of the sound or otherwise activated triggers that plugs into the camera to activate it. And a lot of times what the photographers will do is they'll just program this trigger to listen to rocket sounds. And then when it hears rocket sounds, it goes, it starts taking pictures, right? We don't have to do that here because we can have real-time communication with the camera. So part of what the build of the site supports is photographers can put cameras, video cameras, whatever here, and they can have a network connection on our VPN to talk to them and control them in real time, even when we're not here. We're not physically here. We can be back at River, the hotel. They could be in Nebraska for all they care. But they can, because we can transmit and receive, we can actually control the cameras from here. So the MyOps is there. A lot of times they'll put this on there just as a backup plan, just in case, but they do have the ability to talk to some of their cameras. There's actually some micro PCs and stuff down in there that plug into the camera so we can get that stuff. What else do we have? Yeah, coated. Should leave a review on Amazon for that thing. It is significantly less corrosion resistant than Speed Spider would lead you to believe. That's the comm box. I'm not going to open it up, but that's where the brains of the entire site is. We've got multiple routers in there. They have different ways of getting online. I apologize, the camera's a little shaky, but it's the information that's gold here. They have different antennas up on the tower. There's some LTE antennas up there. Of course, the point-to-point antenna at the very top is the main link that goes over. And we don't have the Starlink out here right now. That's what Daniel's working on, hey Daniel.
Hey guys.
How's it going? Daniel is working on a remote controlled relay so that we can turn the Starlink on and off when we're not here. And Starlink, of course, burns tons of power. It burns 60 to 75 watts, and we don't want to burn 60 to 75 watts all the time. At night, when we don't need it, we turn the Starlink off, and with what Daniel's working on, we'll be able to turn it on. It'll boot up, we'll connect to it, and we can use the Starlink as a third or fourth type of connection here. Point-to-point LTE Starlink, and we got multiple LTE modems. So anyways, this is where all the routers are. This is also where our microphone encoders and that sort of stuff are. Maybe we'll clean up that one day. We'll get to it. That blue cable looks fine to me.
It's on the list.
It's on the list, right. Daniel is over here working in the box. I'm not going to stick in there too far, but the box that he has open right now, I don't know how much of this came through earlier, but that's actually the client box. The equipment in that box is designed to support the photographer's cameras and other temporary equipment that we may deploy here. So we'll have the Starlink out here temporarily. We'll have their cameras. They have places where they can plug into an Ethernet switch up there. They have power. We'll give them 12-volt power. We have AC power as well. Less ports on the AC power. But this is designed so that photographers can roll up and they have all these resources, network connectivity and power ready to go. The other box, this is all the control and telemetry box for the solar itself. We don't like having the solar out here unless we actually have telemetry from it. At any given time, I can tell you the state of the batteries, how much watts we're getting, how much watts we're using, which cameras are on and off, everything in real time. It graphs it, we can go back in history, but we monitor everything that's going on to make sure that our sites are healthy and well charged and ready to support whatever's going on out here at Starbase. The big box there, I don't know if y'all got that earlier, but that's the battery box. Part of the refurbish is repainting it. We learned that a black box, worked this out myself, tends to get hotter inside. So we painted it white, but we used like an RV roof coating that did not adhere to the powder coat that's on the box very well. So we need to redo that. And still a bit of a work in progress. We got our tools and stuff around. Some of the truss segments and stuff we're going to clean up and get out of there. But the site, forklift going down the road. This is our highway site. And this is what we use to bring y'all Starbase live. Did I miss anything else? Yeah, I'm not really set up to take questions because it's just me standing here live streaming while Daniel does all the work. I can try to pop in and see if somebody wants to toss me a question or two. Or maybe I'm not even live and people just don't even want me to do this anymore. I don't know. But any questions? Oh, it's definitely live. All right, cool. Not sponsored by Coca-Cola, that's true. We're powered by Coca-Cola, but we're not sponsored by Coca-Cola.
That is true.
That is true, says Daniel. If there are any questions, we can grab a couple questions here. And I'm going to rely on them to pass me the questions. That's a generator. That's a generator that can run an air conditioner for the RV. Okay, I will have to read the questions in text. What's going on in the 38 hours? So, Adrian, we're at our highway site right now. Or, I don't know who that was, but Adrian passed the question to me. Text is going to be a lot easier for me to read the questions. We need to finish up here at highway. We need to get the Starlink deployed. Daniel's going to finish up the power control for it. And then this site will be ready to support the photographers that are going to set cameras here. I already tuned the point-to-point. If you remember some of the behind-the-scenes photos that came out, we actually had a 35-foot lift out here, which was comically large for our comically small tower. Tower doesn't need to be any taller than it is. But I already tuned the point-to-point back to the hotel. We finished that, and we completely redid the power structure and new boxes and all that sort of stuff on the backside. So we're just about good to go here at Highway. Highway is one of our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 or 6, 7. I don't know how many sites. One of many sites that we'll be covering the launch from. And so I also need to go to North Beach, which is actually back that way a ways, and we've got some work to do out there. Our South Beach site is over in this direction. Our sites are basically like, there's the launch tower, right? And it's a mile south for our South Beach site, a mile north for our North Beach site. We're about 1.4, 1.7, not 2 miles, I don't think, from the tower to here. And we're going to go out to North Beach. We've got some more work to do over there. Additional cameras, some things we deploy temporarily and that sort of stuff, right? We got to go back out to South Beach again. We're going to be deploying more cameras there. We got a brand new camera we just put out there the other night that we will roll into the coverage. We've got River back here, so we'll be back at River as well. There's the production site. River is about 3.8 miles away from the launch pad, and that's where some NSF folks will be watching from there. The cool thing, honestly, and y'all tell me if I'm like nerding out too much, right? The cool thing about our network out here is that it's all sort of put together. So if you've got a camera here that you've deployed as a photographer, or you have a live stream tracking camera that we have here or at the trailer or at South Beach, you could be at River over this way at our little NSF hospitality site at River, and you can hop on the network at River. River's got a little point-to-point radio that shoots a beam from River up to the top of this tower, and then it comes right down the tower and it'll get you to your camera. So we have like Starlink, oh, such great ping times. We get like 2 to 5 millisecond pings from our River control center over there to the cameras that they may have here, or at trailer, or at South, or at North. And we can also be on the roof of the hotel. You can just see, wow, way out there. Hang on. Look at this. Let me zoom in. You'll see the Sapphire out there. Where's the big? Is it to the right? Yeah, there you go. That's the Sapphire condominiums, I guess. To the right of it, you can't quite see it because I'm close to the ground here. But Margaritaville Resort, South Padre Island, is over there where we will be on the roof with our rooftop command center. We can be on the roof. And we can talk to any of our equipment at any of our sites with sub 10 millisecond ping times to control everything that's going on. You could be remote. The ping's larger. The ping's much higher once you get remote. You could be in Ohio. You could be in Europe somewhere. We've got SBL operators that are all over the map, and they can control any of the equipment that's that's at any of the NSF sites here at Starbase from wherever they are. So the whole network is sort of put together so we can control it from wherever. We don't have to be here. The other super important thing, remember I said there were lots of different connection types plus the Starlink I don't have out yet? We fail over. So if we have problems with one connection, we can switch to a different type of connection. And throughout the entire coverage, we try to have a diverse mix of connections that we're using. We don't usually put all of our eggs in a single basket. We'll have some cams on point-to-point. We'll have some cams on LTE. We'll have some things happening on Starlink. Maybe a photographer has taken a remote shot from one of the cameras, and the live cameras may be using the point-to-point, and the photographer might upload the photos to put in the shop via the Starlink. And that's how we can maintain the stability and quality of the live feeds without impeding the photographers from being able to get to their stuff and start to fire up uploads that we can get back so that we can show y'all in the member program, put them in the shop or whatever. All right, another question. Let me see. Am I going way too long? I don't know. I hope this is nice and stable. I can't unlock my phone with my left hand. So I'm going to be going around to a lot of different places. So other questions. It's stable. Cool, thank you. Your Starlink antenna can be put to sleep via the Android app. Still actually pulls a lot of power if you put it to sleep. Plan for expansions. So we're always improving the different things that we're doing here. We're going to potentially add more solar in the future. We're going around and we're trying to add more battery to all the sites. We're doing sort of a cleanup pass right now, right? Audio probably won't match if you're looking at me with a different camera. But we're doing sort of a cleanup pass. We've been out here for years, and years of work at the sites, things, start to rust. Things start to not be great. Even the aluminum tends to corrode. cameras start to leak, you can see a bunch of discoloration, like UV discoloration there. It takes a lot of maintenance just to keep these things running. So right now, a big thing that we're doing is sort of like a cleanup refactor pass to go back through and make everything clean again. Otherwise, expansions, we're always trying to add new cameras. I guess I could make it so y'all could see me again, huh? We're always looking to add more cameras. We've got cool ideas for more audio, more interactivity that we're always working on. Can I raise this up now? I'm out of hands, chat. I have no more hands left to operate all this equipment solo. What, please? There we go. And up. There we go. And flip. And tripod. Hey, how's that? Neat. Now I can talk to y'all. Always trying to make sure that we're adding new technology, but a big part of it is replacing stuff because the lifetime of even aluminum components out here, they just don't last. Point-to-point radios die because the corrosion just gets to them. I don't care how much silicone tape you wrap them in or how you try to seal them, connectors get worn out. There's a ton of maintenance that we're always having to do to keep these things going. How is this all weatherproof? That's a great question Adrian just put in the back channel here for me. At first, we were just getting stuff going however we could, right? We're out here, we're learning, does this part work? They call it stainless steel, but that doesn't mean it's stain proof. It just means it stains less. So even stainless can start to get a little effect. I don't even know if I'd call it corrosion, especially if stainless is touching other parts, right? You can get dissimilar metals and aluminum corroding against the stainless and still locking up or causing problems. Bubbling is a big problem where you have like an aluminum cast. A bunch of these cameras are cast aluminum, right? And you have this aluminum cast and you have an O-ring gasket, like a silicone gasket. And that aluminum starts to corrode and bubble just a little bit. And that pushes the O-ring or the gasket out. And then you get water ingress into the camera and then the whole camera's toast. Or part of the camera's toast or whatever, right? Let's see here. Oh, how else is it weatherproofed? We did go through and we had to say, hey, you know something? We got these boxes that we got from Home Depot. We spent a lot of money at Home Depot, right? And the little screws that come with those boxes, they are not corrosion proof. So a lot of the boxes we found on the tower, the screws had just completely rusted off. Things falling off and stuff. So then you go and you're like, oh, it's this size screw. We need to get that in stainless. We go to McMaster Car. McMaster Car, if you want to sponsor a stream, my DMs are open. We buy a lot from McMaster Car too. But we go through and we replace some of that hardware. And then when we buy new stuff, we try to identify the parts that are not stainless steel, and we'll take out the zinc-coated junk, we'll take out the mild, well, not really any mild steel. We'll take all that stuff out and we'll try to replace it with stainless before it even gets bad. UV cracks plastic over time. We've got to replace some of those. Sometimes we'll go through and we'll try to make a housing, or we love silicone tape. Do I have silicone tape on anything right here? Most of it's on the tower because I just redid a bunch of it. But we'll have a connection and then we'll wrap that connection with self-bonding silicone tape. The silicone tape sticks to itself really well. Like once the tape touches itself, it's never coming undone again, right? So you can use that to make really good watertight connections. Probably what I'm doing is telling all the other people who want to stream out here how they're going to have to weatherproof their sites after 3 years. Part of the hilarious thing is I see other people setting up stuff sometimes and they just copy us. They just buy the same stuff as us. And I'm like, I haven't had that antenna plugged in for a year now. You bought the same antenna. It doesn't work here. I just left it on the tower because I didn't want to climb it. Whatever. Let's see here. Beyond that, the boxes are another big thing with the weatherproofing. In the summer, we don't have like sealed boxes where we don't let any airflow in or out because the boxes will literally cook the equipment inside of it. So we try to have some airflow through the boxes. We have little fans, we have temperature sensors and all that sort of stuff. But it is a very humid environment and we have to go through and we're constantly replacing connections, replacing wires. That little Ethernet cable, the RJ45s, those things are terrible. Like they get a little corrosion on them, it'll be like, oh, look, I'm a good cable. And then you try to log into the camera and it won't work. Maintenance. Maintenance is a great question too, right? Maintenance is a great question too. The big part besides corrosion and keeping wires and stuff like that good to go is the environment around us, right? And so we have the gravel pad. The gravel pad not only gives us a nice place that's not muddy, we can drive vehicles in, we can park, we can work without being in the grass. Less mosquitoes here because there's no grass, like you're not walking through the grass, right? But the pads actually also act as a security zone around this stuff. around around the cameras around the sites. And so we try to maintain these pads, which is pretty tough. We go through, we'll like edge, we'll mow and that sort of stuff to keep the vegetation low near the sites. We don't try to mow unnecessarily if we don't need to, but we do want to have just a break area around the sites where the vegetation isn't overgrown. That's a huge part of it, and especially in the summer, it's really tough to keep up with. The good news is in the summer, all this stuff's really wet, right? So even though it's growing really quickly because it's summer and it's getting lots of rain and it's wet, we don't have to maintain it, or it's not as big of a deal because the vegetation's all very wet. In the fall, when it gets dry, that's when we really want to be aware of making sure that we keep the vegetation levels down. A small building, we've talked about having a small building. We do have a container over at our river site, and we keep tools and supplies and materials and extra wires and replacement parts and that sort of stuff in the container over there. A building like with air conditioning and stuff, maybe one day, I don't know. There's plenty of room back there. We could put a tiny house. Well, I just need to stand over there with like a high-vis vest one day, right? And when SpaceX is getting 100 tiny homes delivered, I'll be like, yeah, this way. I'll just wave them to our property and have them put a tiny home back. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. Right now, the solar we have at the site is plenty for discrete digital electronic devices. Cameras, point-to-point radios, that sort of stuff. The solar we have at the sites is not enough for like creature comforts. So you can charge your phone, you can run your laptop, whatever. You're not going to run an air conditioner off of a kilowatt of solar, right? That's not a thing that's going to happen, especially in the summertime. So even a refrigerator would be tough too. If we needed to do that, we would have to have a lot more power capability. If we wanted to have a small building that was like a creature comfort or a lounge or something, a crew rest area or something would be fantastic, but there's some infrastructure things where we need to make that work. Could we do it? Like just with solar? Sure. Solar prices have dropped a lot, honestly, than even when we first built these, but it wasn't anything really we priced out yet, right? Refreshments and snacks. So normally here at Highway, we wouldn't have any food or anything like that because we don't want to attract the Yodis and the possums and the trash pandas. There's raccoons all over the place because people put all their trash in the dumpsters and they leave their trash in the bins at the beach. And that attracts animals that are going to come and scavenge the trash that people leave, right? So we wouldn't store food or anything like that around here. Even at River, I don't want like chocolate bars in the container or something because that's how you get raccoons chewing through your weather seals or whatever, right? We do have, however, at River, for the launch, sort of an NSF hospitality tent. We have an RV. We have two RVs this time, actually. We've got the generator that we're going to have over there. We'll have air conditioning. We'll have a place for people to rest and wait for the launch. All the crew that are coming through. We've got some visiting photographer friends as well. And so we provide those sort of comfort facilities and the power to run them over at River, right? Not something that's open to the public. Because of the way we work and the way we have insurance and liability stuff, we can't just have anybody just run up and just watch with us from there, right? But for photographers that are working or people that are supporting NSF, SBL operators, Roger's over there right now. He's one of the SBL operators y'all see on every morning. He's got a little RV over there. And he's actually acting as sort of our NSF hospitality person. Runs into towns, gets some snacks and stuff like that. We got coolers with drinks. Like I said, we'll get the air conditioning running and stuff like that. So the sites themselves, not so much. Super low impact over here. Back at River, where it's sort of like more in civilization, air quotes civilization, there's a little bit more creature comforts, and we can be there during launch as well. Let me look at my phone one more time. I know I'm talking up a storm, but we've been promising this for the longest time, and we're always so busy we never did it. We just want to show y'all, I don't like go out and take super chats and put like another Ferrari in my Ferrari account. We don't get enough super chats to buy Ferraris, unless they're Matchbox Ferraris. But all the support that y'all do, you're gifting memberships, you're doing super chats, tips.nasaspaceflight.com, buying merch, or whatever. We turn that back around so that we can do safe, secure coverage. We bring y'all upgrades to the equipment, stable video feeds. Audio is always a challenge, but we try to turn those things back around into coverage that y'all can share, especially if you can't come here to Starbase. I'm going to check my phone one more time and just see what I can do. Final thanks to all the support this, and slowly moving out of this. I'm just reading what they're telling me on the back channel. I don't even know how long I've been talking. So anyways, yeah, you can clip that, whatever, that's fine. Folks, I'm not reading chat right now, I'm just reading the back channel. If you've been watching, I'm Das. You may hear me as John Galloway, but everybody calls me Das. My own mom calls me Das. I'm going to be out here, part of the team, covering the Flight 3 launch. Looking like the weather's not too fantastic. We'll see what exact call gets made. All the other people helping out as well. Daniel back there. Sean is out here all the time. If you've seen Sean or bought one of Sean's metal prints on Sean, just give you a thumbs up for that. On the shop, Sean's out here covering things all the time. So we're out here. More people are coming. We just going to try to do everything we can to bring y'all the coolest, scrappiest, most fun Starship launch coverage that we can. So I think for now, I'm going to get back to work. I've got a generator I need to commission, and then we'll need to be
back to work.
I've got to get back to work. See, he doesn't have a lab, so you probably can't hear him. I think he's saying that I haven't worked yet today. What do you think this is?
Fun.
It is pretty fun. He's not wrong. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and hop off. They're going to continue on with the show. Thank y'all so much for the support. Sorry for the technical problems earlier. It's literally, like, we solved the technical problem with this feed the exact same way we solve the problems that we deal with out here every day. We just patched our signal through another uplink, and we're able to bring y'all coverage of what's happening. So we'll see y'all around for Flight 3. We'll have more behind-the-scenes stuff like this for you, especially during the show before the launch. For now, I think they're ready to take the stream away from me, and I will see you nerds later. Thanks so much for all the support